A major breakthrough tonight in the fight against cancer, and there is a Bakersfield connection to this story. Pfizer announcing the Food and Drug Administration has approved the use of capsules in a first-ever therapy targeting advanced small cell lung cancer. Pfizer makes the drug called Xalkori, also known as crizotinib. Janet Vucinich of Santa Barbara was part of the clinical trials to test that drug here in Bakersfield. We met her back in March. Comprehensive Blood and Cancer Center was one of the select few clinics in the country chosen for those clinical trials. In essence, crizotinib targets the genes that drive specific cancer cells to attack the body.
Unfortunately, people have discovered that there's a lot of genes which drive cancer, and so if we identify those genes and target medicines, particularly to switch off those genes, we can get good results, so that only the cancer cells are attacked and the normal cells are spared.
The CBCC's Ravi Patel there says almost all of the patients involved in these clinical trials suffered no major physical side effects from taking the Xalkori capsules. Wow.
Dr. Ravi Patel in with us this morning, the Comprehensive Blood and Cancer Center, and our cancer update this month. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kiyoshi.
Good morning. This was kind of exciting news because this drug that is now on the market was approved by the FDA, had some very intimate roots here in Bakersfield.
Correct.
It was tested here in Bakersfield.
It was tested here. We were part of a international study, and we had two patients, one actually coming from Arizona and another one coming from Santa Barbara to Bakersfield for treatment.
Yeah, because the treatment is that important, and we're talking about lung cancer specifically, which you mentioned is what, the deadliest cancer?
Yeah, the deadliest cancer in the world today, unfortunately, is lung cancer. And these patients have very limited options once they've exhausted their standard treatments. So one of the patients who came here, her mother was passing away, and she told her mother that I'm going to be following you. And now she fortunately responded to this treatment, is doing very well. And the intelligence of this treatment is it targets the gene, and the gene drives the cancer, so it puts the brake on the gene and stops the cancer from growing.
And it's called what, Xalkori is that?
Xalkori is the name, and it's very intelligent kind of drug, the first of its kind for switching off this particular gene. And it's one of the first drugs in the last 6 years approved for lung cancer.
And one of the problems with it, though, much like when we talk about antibiotic resistance and everything else, is these bugs, the viruses and the bacteria, are smart. They try to outsmart us. So you say, okay, I'm going to block this pathway and stop you from overgrowing cancer cell.
Correct.
And they say, okay, after a while, I figured out your plan, medication. I'm going to go around that block and I'm going to continue to grow. That's the problem with a lot of drug resistance, right?
Yes, and that's a new kind of research where how can we overcome the resistance? But, you know, these patients who didn't have options now have a new option, and then maybe there's something new coming out.
This was a death sentence beforehand. You got lung cancer and it was pretty much, this is what was going to happen. So you're talking about extending life, quality years of life. That's the important thing. The other criticism that some people are looking at is the cost of cancer drugs. This one, according to NBC News, $115,000 a year.
Yes, and you know, the unfortunate thing is recently most of the approved medications have a price tag above $100,000.
Wow.
The one for prostate cancer, the one for lung cancer, the one for melanoma. But insurance and Medicare is covering it.
Yeah. That's the good news, and it costs money. You know, the drug companies will tell you it costs money to do these trials and to do all the research on them. So
yeah, and there are patient assistance programs also.
Okay, well, Dr. Ravi Patel, exciting news that this drug came out of Bakersfield and was part of the trials here. So thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.